What is going on, guys? HappiDaze here. In today's video, we are doing day 3 of Grand Party. Now, this is a day that was kind of crazy, I'm not going to lie. So I'm not going to spoil what happened in the matches. Definitely watch them. I did a lot of assumptions that turned out not really great or not correct. So stick around for that. We'll get into the matches, see how we did, see if we were able to get a total of 9 out of 9. And see if we go into day 4 in high hopes or not. So let's take a look and go start with match number 1 for the day. Alright, so for the first match, let's see who our opponents are. We get 2 Strength Luffys, 1 into Gear 5 Luffys. So we're going to take on probably one of the Strength Luffys, take a look at what their teams look like. This is a pretty stacked team, pretty crazy int team there. Obviously, middle team is not the crazy Dex team, but a lot of good units there. Take a look at the bottom team real quick. I think I'm going to try this one. I think the game strategy here is to see if I can use my strength team first, get them to go off before the slashers can go, and then hope that I can kind of use, again, that team in the middle to tank 2 hits, and then go for the last fight with my int team and kind of take it from there. So let's see what's going to happen. Obviously, the strength team, you got to watch out for, just because if they can go off, like, they can absolutely hit like a tank. They do have S30 who does a bunch of damage. They have the Odin there who's giving them some TT increase. Of course, Zoro Sanji, if they're able to go off, they haste everyone to the front, and that just makes life not great for any of them. So, you know, I still have the Boa Nami unit and the waifus there in the front. That might switch going into the kind of the final days, and might swap out with Sanji just to get a little bit more CT. But you can see we're going, that shield that they get is just absolutely a pain to deal with. We're taking a fixed damage shot from Odin there. Luckily, some of our units are just about ready to go, but the Zoro and Sanji come and basically, with that, boost all their units there. And at this point, like, out of desperation, I use the burst. I was able to force out a couple of the units, but as you can see, it didn't really do too much for me. Still taking that shot from the Odin and Roger, which is going to take out 2 units themselves. Yeah, and at that point, like, there's just not much I can do myself to come back from that. So that's going to be pretty much an L for that first match, unfortunately. So obviously they didn't use one of their bursts. We've been hitting them, so their burst is just about charged. So yeah, if they don't use a burst here, it's not looking good for this first match of the day. King was only able to hit one of them, and then we have the Zoro and Sanji and the Odin who came back. So, yeah, unfortunately, them going first just completely messed up my game plan and my thought for how I was going to approach this fight, unfortunately. So, is what it is. Sometimes you take the L like that. Again, they're going to boost them again. Let Odin go again, do another 3,000 shot. So just a lot of damage all around. And they... the good news is they decided to use their burst. That might be a saving grace there. I mean, granted, they wiped me out. But it means that they have 1 burst left. So that means that they're not going to use their burst on fight number 2. They'll save it for fight 3. That said, obviously I'm facing the Strength team. Strength has a ton of buffs this season. So just because that strength team would absolutely dominate that middle team I had before, I ended up swapping their order. Of course, in this team, I watch out for the Raizu and Shinobu. Obviously, just a pain to deal with. And obviously, the Blackbeard can do some damage there. Jack with the HP cut is obviously something to look out for. But I'm hoping with the Blackbeard, who does the debuff to the cooldown, that we're able to do some good stuff there. Let's see if we're able to get it off, get our specials off before they get their specials off. Unfortunately, because the Nami and Karina is in the Free Spirit team at the bottom, there's not really much we can do to delay them outside of what we have the Blackbeard to do there. We get the action bind. The good news is they didn't actually bind the Luffy or the S30. That was probably the best case scenario. So yeah, that's probably the only good part, and that way Yamato isn't going to die, because if she dies while she's bound, then she doesn't kick off her suicide special. So, oof. Yeah, Kobe comes in with the haste. Yeah, it's going to be pretty much over, I think, when this Luffy goes right here. He's just going to wipe everyone off the face of the planet. Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to lose this first match. Yeah, that was just a lot of bad planning on my side. Like I said, I thought with the cooldowns that I was going to be able to kind of take out those that slasher team like right away. But obviously that is definitely not the case. Just using a burst here because I'm not going to win this match anyway. But yeah, I'm still gonna probably lose this fight. I don't think this will go to fight number 3 unless like something kind of crazy happens. Oh, actually, somehow we managed to eke out the win, but they still have 1 burst left. So with the team that we have, if I had Otama on this final team, I might be able to have been okay and survive the burst I'm about to take. Without Otama, pretty much everyone's HP is just gonna absolutely melt when he kicks off his special, and it's just gonna be probably GG's from that point. Let's see, I should take their special right off Riff. Yep, there we go. So yeah, without a way to heal, there's not really much I can do. Once Luffy goes, it's pretty much going to be GG's. Of course, the counter mechanic of Zoro can just do a bunch of damage too, though. You know, I don't have many of Dex units on here, so he's not like doing like. Sorry, I don't have many strength units on here, so it's not like he's doing crazy amounts of damage with his counter. But still, you can see he's still hitting for like 980 HP each time, which is still a lot, even though he's being debuffed there. So yeah, just taking some shots here. Like I said, there's no way that we can really win here. Probably gonna die right here. Yeah, we lose a bunch of units, and yeah, so we lost that first match, unfortunately. That was just kind of some bad placement. That was my foolish assumption that even with all the buffs that I was going to be able to get my strength team to go first, that Zoro and Sanji, just the ability for them to haste everyone to the top is ridiculous in terms of what it can do. Yeah, we're just going to skip here. Like I said, there's no way we can win. No point making you guys watch me get absolutely tarnished there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take on that other team. Obviously, they had a little bit more stacked int team at the top than what I had, obviously. But I think that that's probably the safer option, just so I don't have to go in and start changing my teams in the middle of the fights. Like I said, I'll probably change up these teams for the final couple days once it gets a little bit kind of crazier. But I think at least for now, actually, yeah, let's just refresh. I forgot that we had 4 refreshes there. So yeah, let's just do a refresh and just kind of start fresh, get rid of win number 7, and just get rid of the bad juju that's there. And yeah, we'll just take on this guy instead, right? Why risk things, right? If you have a chance, especially in the later days, to get easy wins, like take them. Like there's no trophy that you get for beating someone harder except for bragging points, right? So in this case, for win number 7 of the day, we're just gonna face this team. They don't have a burst, or if they do, I think it's like a pretty minimal burst that they have. I think it's maybe like some fixed damage, but it's nothing that we won't be able to get through. And with our strength team going first, we'll absolutely demolish this team with absolutely no problems at all. Luffy with the revive there, and Kuma should kill him here by himself. Perfect. 3 units left. Unfortunately, I don't really have anyone ready to go, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, it's a purely just not even fair matchup with what I have there. So that takes care of match number 1. We're going to wrap it up in the second match here. We didn't really get enough to get our burst ready, or to get our burst charged. So unfortunately, I think we have to wait just a little bit to get our burst charged. But yeah, once we get our burst charged, kick it off, it'll be GG's, and we'll easily beat this team. Again, really not much synergy there, so no one's kind of have to worry about it. But the downside is we don't get a lot of damage against us because there's not a lot of synergistic units on that team that can kind of do that for us. So let's go ahead and get to this hopefully pretty quick, and then we'll kind of get on to the second fight of the day. Blackbeard doing some damage over time there. You love to see that. S-Hawk taking out 1 unit himself, but severely injuring another one. We'll get Sabo to take out a unit there, give some CT increase for us. And then, yeah, hopefully when this Luffy goes, he'll pretty much just about end it. Alright, 1 unit left. I should just take a second to just wipe him off when the Yamato goes. That should be the end of him. And Ace is knocked off. Alright. So yeah, when you're not facing a non-burst captain, that's why it's easy to take these matches. So there we go. That will end up giving us our first win of the day, bring us up to 7 total wins out of 9 for the third day. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the second battle and see how that one goes. So for the second match of the day, let's see what our opponents look like here. Again, we have 2 rare recruit captains there. If I wanted to take on this strength team, I probably could. I would obviously switch up my teams to have my strength team go second, have a Dex team go first. I don't feel like switching up my teams, though, just because we're in the middle of recording a video. So instead, I'm going to take on this guy at the top. Obviously, he has kind of a crazy bunch of units out of there. Even the one on the bottom isn't too bad. Again, I have to kind of reformat my team to throw a Dex team on there if I want to kind of compete. So I'm just going to face the guy at the top, just make it really easy. Have our strength team go first against his strength team. We shouldn't have to use a burst, so we'll save 2 bursts for the final fight there, even though if we want to, we could technically use bursts on the second match there. Maybe make it go a little bit quicker. Now, you have to be careful about using burst on the second match, because, you know, if you save one for the final match, you're pretty much guaranteed, as long as the team is good, you have a pretty much guarantee of being able to defeat the enemy, but you also have the chance that could go wrong. So just keep a note. Sometimes it's better to play it safe than sorry. But you can see, like, we've already taken out like 50% of their HP. Kobe's just going to boost everyone to the top, which is awesome. Once Kuma goes, he's going to absolutely light everyone up with his damage to defense. Boom, doesn't even matter. Bizarro that you're there, like, you're gone. And then once Luffy goes, it's pretty much definitely over from that point. Jack will be able to go really twice within the first 30 seconds, which is kind of insane. It speaks to the boss that he's getting this season. But yeah, you love to see that. And Luffy is just going to come in and just absolutely decimate everyone else. And with the Force out, that gives us the easy win. Again, we didn't even charge our burst gauge, so we probably won't even get to use the burst until the third match. But we'll be able to basically use 1 burst there. If we take enough damage during that match, we'll have the second burst ready, and that's just like a GG win there. Now, this team, we do have to watch out. Obviously, the Shanks gives a lot of defense to the Int team. The Assault can hit like a tank. Yamato has a suicide that she can do that can kind of hit, you know, up to 3 units with just a bunch of damage. So you do have to watch out here. Of course, we do have on our side the Nami and Korean to help do some special rewinds to kind of help out a little bit. And like I said, because they don't have the full burst of a strength leader or a int Luffy leader, it just makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna take a little bit of a shot here. Kind of a pain. Didn't charge our burst gauge, which I was hoping it would be enough to charge it, then I could use it, but then that just didn't happen. But that's okay. We're gonna go ahead and use the Roger Gabon. Sorry, Roger Rayleigh. So yeah, use Roger Rayleigh there. Unfortunately, we lost them, but that was enough for us to be able to trigger our burst. So let's go ahead and use it, right? There's no reason that we could get this fight done a little bit quicker, which will be good. And then once they come back, hopefully Smoker and the Odin, Kinemon, and Denjiro unit there can just take out the rest and just make it really easier for us to get that second win of the day after that kind of crazy first set of matches that we had. All right, perfect. Yeah, so that gives 8 out of 8. So let's get into the third match of the day, which is a super strong nail biter because you don't have retries. So let's see what the final match of the day has in store for us now. All right, so for the last final match of day 3, yeah, I mean, I could take on that rare recruit team. I think that's what I'm gonna do, just because it'll just make it easier. And today has not been a fun day. So let's see what happens here. Obviously, they have their strength team up front. Has that CT reduction with the Sanjun up there, so they're going to go super fast. So I was hoping that with this team, with the Blackbeard debuff, it would be enough for me to pretty easily, you know, stop them from really going, let my guys hit, and then kind of take it from there. So that's the game plan. That's the strategy. Let's see how it goes. You do have to watch out for the strength team this season. Now, their backbench isn't, like, crazy loaded. So that's the good news for us there. If we just clear out this front bench, everything should be much easier at that point. So just wait for some specials to go. Obviously, we're going to take the Jack hit, which is never fun, getting that HP cut. A little bit hit from Sanji, but not too bad. We're going to have the S-Hawk go. Now, the advantage here is that if you're facing strength teams, if you can get a burst, it's pretty much like an instant win because they don't have like the highest defense, right? And if you have the int burst captain and he's rainbowed like I do, he just hits like an absolute tank. So we're gonna take a nasty shot here. We're just gonna go ahead and use it because there's no reason not to once Yamato uses her special, and that will just make it so that we're kind of guaranteed. I don't want to let some of those back units come in before I use it, so I don't waste it. And this should just wipe out the rest of those characters, give us the easy victory for the day. And because it's a non-burst captain, you don't have to worry too much. So yeah, that gives us win number 1. Going into match number 2, you just gotta kind of watch out a little bit here. So there is the int team. Again, it has the Shanks that gives a shield, and it has Bonnie who you have to watch out for the CT rewind, Yamato with the death hit that she can do, S-Hawk with damage and defense. So yeah, kind of a scary team obviously to go against. And this is where I kind of alluded to in my previous fight video. Like at this point, like this team was really not meant to, shouldn't have been used to kind of win here, right? I was really planning on using this team as a sacrificial team, having the team, my strength team, in my final slot with a burst, and that should be more than enough to kill whatever team is in that final slot. But for whatever reason, I lost all my characters, I panicked, and I just used a burst here. Not the wisest move, definitely wasn't thinking what I was doing here, and as a result, now I have no more burst. Right now, they only have 3 units on their side, but the problem is I don't have any real damage-dealing units here. We have Yamato, who just came back on the field, who once she dies will trigger that death hit that will hit 3 people for just a ton of damage there. My game was kind of glitching here. I don't know why it was taking so long for the buffs to get reapplied, but it was. But yeah, at this point, like, I am not feeling confident. Sentamaru will do a 1 time 4,000 shot, but outside of that, unfortunately she did it to the one person who would have been better if she did not do it to, because that just absolutely took out, or made my units so weak that a bunch died. So at this point, there's really not much I can do. It just kind of is what it is. Lost the last 2 characters here, so now of course I'm internally panicking, because I'm like, oh man, this is going into the final match. I don't know what team they have in their final slot there, so of course that's a little bit scary. And if there's just bad RNG or something happens, then it's just not a good position to be in. So in my case, it was the Free Spirit team that we ended up taking on. The downside for us is that this team really doesn't have a lot of offensive capability. They kind of are made for stalling, right? So I probably should have had this team go second, saved my int team for swapped around here. And with the burst, it would have been like a super easy win. But because I didn't do that, and because they have Otama, who's just getting ridiculous buffs because she's strength for the season, she's able to just heal up really quick. Now, of course, they don't have a burst, so that's kind of the one saving grace there. If they had a burst, I don't think there's any chance I would win. But the fact that they don't have a burst might be a saving grace there. Obviously, they have Nami and Karina on their side, which is just a pain to deal with. I triggered the revive. I think that was the revive on the Zoro, if I remember correctly. So now I just gotta hope and pray that my guys can take enough damage. Unfortunately, I got the super special there from the Roger and Gabon, which just absolutely decimated me. Luffy's gonna take out a couple units himself there. So now it's getting really scary, right? It's 5-on-7. My backbench isn't too crazy. Obviously, Smoker can do some special bind. Kuma can do some crazy hits. Luffy can do some crazy hits too. But it's just not a good place that you want to be, right? And there's not like there's another person who can do a ton of specials to kind of trigger that super rumble of my Roger Rayleigh Gabon there. So that's kind of the downside there. Just hoping and praying that I can get my specials off. If my Smoker can special bind a couple of those, I might stand a chance. So let's just see. He did get Luffy and one of the Boa sisters, so that's kind of my only saving grace, right? If I can have Luffy hold on, I might be able to do something. Even though the Roger Rayleigh Gabon here should take out 2 units himself, it's going to be close. If Luffy is able to go, then it's over. Let's see. Oh, the Boa is just hanging on by a thread. Let's see. Can Luffy take out Luffy? Okay, so we finally triggered the revive of the Luffy. We just eked out getting him killed before his special went off. So yeah, that was a crazy match, like ridiculously close. Like, if there was like 4 or 5 more seconds, I probably would have lost that match and would have only got in 8 wins for the day. But we pulled it off. We got our what we need to for the day. We're gonna switch our captain to a non-burst captain, so people can actually have a chance to win. As I saw, because that guy in the last match had a non-burst captain, I was able to win. I wouldn't have been able to win if they didn't do that. So huge shout out when you're done your match for the day. Change your leader to a non-burst captain. Preferably in the 2nd or 3rd slot, so that people will see or get an idea of what team is in that slot, and just help the community out, help everyone get to 15 wins, help everyone get the gems, and move on to the next event. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up day 3. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have the video out for day 4 probably sometime early tomorrow. And as always, let me know how your grand party is going so far. it looks like only 15% of people have got 9 out of 9, which seems really low. So I'm guessing a lot of people are coming up against Strength Luffy leaders or Int Luffy leaders and just getting absolutely manhandled there. So good luck if you don't have a kind of whale account. It's going to be tough to get 15 out of 15. But community strategy helps everyone do that. So make sure you do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, be kind to each other.